Hey, sportsman, John Bergsman here with another edition of the Great Lakes Insider Fishing Report. We're back with Captain Mark Rapson from the Black Pearl Charters out of Holland, Michigan. So we're winding up the summer here, Mark. We're headed towards the last holiday, the Labor Day holiday, and the fall bite. Talk to me. What's the situation on the lake? And then going forward, what should people be doing?
Yeah. Um, well, up until yesterday, um, we've been fishing anywhere from like 80 foot to 120, and then out in like 230 to 250 for salmon.
Sure.
But last night the lake flipped, which means all the cold water that was near the bottom came up to the top, and the warm water pushed offshore.
Perfect. So, to the average guy, what does that trigger you as an experienced charter captain to do? How do you deal with that? Is there any way to deal with it? What's your best suggestions?
The before you go, because this wind is supposed to stay north today, but then it's going to flip and come out of the south, basically what it looks like for about a week straight. So that'll warm it back up. So
Sure.
depending on when you're going, you're going to want to look at the buoy and see if the water is really cold in the top 30 foot. You're going to probably want to fish near the pier heads,
Yep.
be it in Holland here or Grand Haven or Saugatuck, wherever you're going out of. Just set right up at the pier heads.
Sure.
If it warms back up, then check that 80 to 120, and if they're not there, you can go out. Go out to like 250. Just go west.
Exactly. Exactly. So now, if a guy's going to put sets out, what would you suggest? Give me a downrigger, high-low diver, and board sets. What would you be doing?
If you're fishing in tight, I'd run anything from like a flat line with plugs,
Yep.
1, 2, 3 color, like lots of very shallow stuff because you're going to be in real shallow water.
Correct.
Usually at the pierhead, plugs are good. Big glow spoons are good. Even in like white, big white paddles and flies are pretty good if you put them on like your downriggers or your divers.
Sure.
If that's not the case, which it probably won't be by Sunday this week, I think that water probably have warmed up.
Yep.
You're going to be going out like 80, 120 or way offshore. And in those situations, you're fishing more like 150 to 300, 350 toppers.
Sure.
Wire divers, that sort of stuff. And that bite has been there's still been some really nice salmon caught on plugs.
Right. I've seen some pictures coming through on your Facebook. A lot of 15, still a lot of scattered in 15 to 20-pound fish in the catches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Our average, we're not catching a bunch of salmon by any means. We're catching, 2 to 4 per trip. But the ones we catch, they are donkeys. I mean, for the most part, they're all have been over 20 pounds.
And that's absolutely lights out for the angler. Now, talk about your charter here for a second. Do you got openings in the month of September? If you do, is it mostly weekend stuff? What you got up?
I do have some weekend availability in September. I have some Fridays and Thursdays that are still open.
Sure.
Um,
And you do half days or full days? You got a choice?
Yeah, 6 or 8 hours.
Perfect. Yeah. And does it really matter? I mean, group of 4 or 5 guys goes out with you. I mean, is it really going to increase their odds if they take that extra couple hours?
It just depends. You can always call me and ask. I'm straight up front with you.
Right. I know
If
you're
we're gonna have
totally
a limit in
honest.
5 hours, then I'm not going to take you on an 8-hour charter. That's just taking your money.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Hey, and one of the things that you touched on early in the report that I think what you're really saying is guys can go to school on these big north and northeast winds is that's an indication if it's sustained for more than a day or two, that's a tip for everybody that sometimes those fish will be right in tight to the pier heads, correct?
Correct. They'll either be in tight where that cold water came up and the river plumes come out,
Sure.
or they will be way offshore.
Yeah, well, pretty much
Well,
inaccessible to the average boat is what you're saying.
if it's calm out, there's no reason you can't
Sure.
run out there in your Lund or Alumacraft or whatever you got. But,
Yep.
um,
But typically you're saying those big north blows followed by some stable weather, you may be able to come in and first day after a big blow like that, you may be able to take advantage of a pretty good bite not too far from home.
Correct. Correct. Yep,
Beautiful.
that's true.
Well, let's wrap it up, and thanks again to Mark Rapson from Black Pearl out of Holland. If you're looking for a great charter, Mark's an awesome captain. His mate is great. I've been with him several times in the last 3 years, and we've always just crushed him. So thanks, Marks, again for the fishing report.
Yep. Thank you, John. Take care.
So let's just do a quick little recap on what Mark was talking about. Basically, he mentioned, and I didn't show you guys, he mentioned paddles and flies. This obviously is our number 8 Dreamweaver paddle. An action fly is it's another Dreamweaver product, but basically what a fly is just this crazy looking tinsel looking stuff that slides down over a set of beads and a treble hook. This trails out behind the paddle about 3 feet, and then the salmon come in as this thing twirls, steelhead, coho, whatever, and they hammer this. This can be an awesome rig to run off of high and low divers and also off of downriggers. So this is one of the staples, if you will, of big lake fishing is going to be that number 8 paddle and an action fly. Another thing Mark touched on that I already showed you close up here in the camera is a big glow spoon. Big glow spoons are really, really good in tight. Here's a couple other good choices. We've got the Super Slim right here in a UV. That Super Slim in a UV is an awesome spoon for like coho and also Lakers close to the bottom. And this is, of course, the standard big regular size Dreamweaver. This one here happens to be the Holo Blue Dolphin. It's one of my favorite color spoons, and we really want to encourage people to get out there at this time of the year. You know, September, so many people are thinking, oh, I'm done fishing, when in reality, some of the best salmon and lake trout fishing happens close to home beginning in September, especially anywhere the St. Joe River, there where the Black River dumps in at Holland. You go up north and the Muskegon River dumping in at Muskegon, Pierre Marquette into Ludington, the Manistee and the Betsy up in Frankfurt. Anywhere you get a major river entering, you're going to want to be out there in the month of September, because all of the big kings, all the 4-year-olds are coming in and they're staging and holding, and it'll happen for maybe 2 or 3 weeks heavy at those river mouths and outside the pier heads, where you can have some awesome fishing action. Hey, thanks for joining us for the Holland Fishing Report here out of Southwest Michigan. We'll talk to you again in a week.